Unsyndicated presents Off the Air with Sean Baligian.
What's up? How are you? Everything going well? Great. Fantastic. Stanley Cup is set. I still cannot believe the Edmonton Oilers. I can't. It's just a phenomenal story. It is. I picked against them every round, Blake. So, I mean, I can't break my streak. Now, literally, I thought the Kings would beat them. I thought Vancouver would beat them. I still can't believe Vancouver let that series go. And like pretty much everybody else, I thought that Dallas would beat them. And
that's because you, my new bit, by the way, debuting right now. You hate Conor McDavid.
oh, is that?
Yeah.
I saw him when he was 15, and I told people, "Oh my gosh, you have no idea this kid that I just saw." Oh my gosh. No, I mean, all jokes aside, props. I don't know how they're doing it. I'm not being funny. I don't know how they're doing it. They go through those lulls where they're absolutely dominated. Their goaltender had, did you hear that? Had, past tense. Their goaltender had been very shaky. He bounced back and was solid this past series. Their defense core is still a giant question mark in their own zone. I mean, Evan Bouchard is having, and it's funny, I have to pat myself on the back. A couple months ago, if you remember, I was like, boy, that guy's underrated. I don't think he's underrated anymore. He's having quite the historic playoff as far as I'm concerned. He's doing it offensively, but their defense core isn't very good. Guys that I know that are Oiler fans are even kind of saying the same thing. They're like, I don't know how this is happening, but there they are in the Stanley Cup Finals. So props to them.
Well, it probably helps that you have two of the five best players in the world on your team, too.
That
might do something.
Have something to do with it. Hockey is a really strange game in the regard, Blake, that you are seriously talking about a situation where they start the season miserably. What was it? 3-9-1. Their coach gets fired. There was suggestions that their general manager was going to be gone sometime in late November or in December. And then they go literally on a 16-game winning streak. It's a strange game, man. It is a strange game. And I'm not going to go as far as talking to some of my buddies who were Oiler fans last night. I'm not going to go as far as to say this is like the Habs miracle run back in 21, because I mean, that came out of absolutely nowhere. They shouldn't even have made the playoffs, for goodness sake. This was a good Oiler team. I mean, fourth in the conference? I mean, so this was a good team, but man, I think even the biggest Oiler fan didn't see this coming. And I think that's what makes the playoffs such a, in my opinion, I'm incredibly biased. I think that's what makes the playoff the best thing in sports. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, in hockey especially, like if you make the dance, you have a chance. I mean, it's a chip in a chair.
Ooh, did you hear that? Did you?
Yeah.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good. No, it really is. Dave said these finals could be really good. I want Edmonton, but I think Florida takes them down. I thought Dallas would beat Edmonton as well. Canada brings the cup home, maybe. I liked Florida. Mike and I were talking about that back in February when they were flying under the radar. I think it was like our first What the Puck show that we did. It was, everybody was talking at the time. It was about Boston. It was about strangers. And I said, are people forgetting about the Florida Panthers? Like, that's a playoff team. And here's the big difference this year. Last year, they were beat to crap when that final started against Vegas. And Vegas just rolled those lines on them and just rolled over them. They're healthy right now. This break, I think, is good for both teams. The rest versus rush thing, we can have a discussion about that all day. But Blake, I like Florida a lot in this series. I'm not lying.
Yeah, and I think the rest versus rest thing doesn't really count here because it's what, 1 day different. So it's not like it's not like one team went 7 and the other team, swept. So you're
No,
not seeing a huge
what I
difference
mean by
there.
that is a lot of times people sit back and say they almost want to get right back to it for both teams.
Mhm.
As opposed to, because oh no, we're firing all cylinders. We don't want the rest. We want to, we want to get back to it. And so that works one of two ways. It's is the rest good for you, or does it create rust? And I agree with you. That's the point I'm trying to make. That's going to be a factor for both teams. I just don't think it's going to be a factor. I just don't.
Yeah. No, I agree. What's your official prediction?
I am going Florida in 5.
Wow. Gentleman sweep.
5. Yeah. I just sorry. I got to be consistent. Forget about the fun with Edmonton. I Florida, to me, this goes back to February. I mean, literally the first What the Puck show we did, where
Yeah.
at the time they were kind of languishing, and I was like, are people forgetting about them? What am I missing? And I'll tell you what. You watch that series against Rangers, they dominated that series. Make no mistake about it. The only reason that series went as far as it did was the heroics of Shesterkin. I mean, that was it. I mean, they dominated that series. It doesn't break my heart, that's for sure.
So you can speak to this, I feel like, probably better than anyone I know.
All
Is
right.
like all of Canada rooting for Edmonton because of the drought?
I don't want to say all of them. I think there are probably a lot of Calgary fans that are saying screw you. Some Oiler haters as well. Um, I can say this, at least chatting with my buddies that I know and guys on Facebook, it seems like most guys are saying go Edmonton. I mean, 31 years, dude. I mean, it's crazy and it's nuts. I'm sitting
Yeah.
back going, was it really 31 years ago that I watched the Habs win the cup? It'll be 31 years in 6 days. How the hell is that possible? But here we are. I mean, really, that's
Are
the situation.
Habs fans like rooting against it though, so that they can be like, we were the last Canadian team to win it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. If they won the cup, it wouldn't matter like one thing to me. Like I'm not
Yeah.
joking. Whatever. But what does that have to do with, is there some sense of pride to go, yeah, at least the Habs were the last Canadian team to
Well,
win?
I'm saying
Is that a source of pride? You know what I
we're
mean?
realistic sports fans, but there's those dumb meatball fans that will say that. You know that, right?
It's just stupid. That's
Yeah.
just, I'm sorry. That's stupid. And I'm telling you what, listen, all jokes aside, Blake, this is a situation where I'm intrigued at this final more so than in many years, because I'll be the first to admit it. I've already have admitted it. I just keep dismissing Edmonton, and they just keep winning. And I don't want to take anything away from the Oilers, nothing away from the Oilers, but Dallas was dead. They were
They
gassed,
look tired.
right?
Yeah.
They were gassed. Somebody said, is Ken Holland the GM of Edmonton? He absolutely is. That was Eric. And Eric said, I'm leaning towards Florida. Jason said, is Maple Leaf fan rooting for the Oilers? Is Habs man? I need to ask Habs man. My guess is absolutely not. He couldn't. No.
He's the one. He's the one that's saying 31 years, bitch.
Yeah. Dave said Lafreniere has come out of his shell, looks to be a weapon for years to come for Rangers. Boy, did he come on. And did you notice, to your point, David, he got dirty. There were many spots that he just went and got dirty. Hey, Blake, I'm trying to hit the off the air thing on Facebook and it's not loading. Is that like a me problem?
Yeah, I think it's a you problem because
Yeah, because the
shared it.
Yeah, the page didn't come up though. Like, it shows that we're broadcasting live now, and the page didn't. Like, you know how it says you can share it? There's
Yeah.
nothing like
No,
talking.
it's doing the same thing on mine, but then when I click on where it says live at the top, if you click on that, then you
Yeah.
can hit share from there.
No, I just didn't. No.
No, I'm literally watching myself do that right now.
Isn't that funny? See, I'm trying to do it right now, and
You can also share it from the unsyndicated page.
yeah, I did. All right, so no, and
Now
it's look at I'm watching myself
I
right
can
now.
hear
That's
us.
weird. Yeah, isn't that kind of weird? Yeah,
I
how the hell do you share that? How come it's not allowing me to share that crap?
I don't know. I'm not the one to ask, but like I said, I shared it from mine.
All right. You know what I'm going to
So
do? Watch this. There's nothing like I'm going to copy it on like and make a new what you call it. How's that?
look at you go. We're
Well,
doing live tech support for
oh, no,
everyone.
but it's, you know
Well,
what?
you know what,
Yeah,
Sean?
it won't work. It won't work.
Here's what we do.
What?
Everyone should just watch us on YouTube, and that solves all the issues.
Yes, if you're watching us right now, watch on YouTube. That might be the way to go. Now, I'm going to be interested to see if you guys kind of feel the same way as I do right now. And in regards about this final, I am absolutely all in on this final. We are going to do a pregame show, like a legitimate pregame show from my basement on Saturday. If you'd love to join us, but what's your gut feeling on this? We're going to talk about so many other things tonight. I know Blake has a question about the Jim Leyland situation.
Mhm.
I can't wait to get to that because I think there's so many different layers with that. But like I said, this is a scenario where Edmonton is on a run right now. I want to see what my buddy Ray said. Sean, I asked fans, are they rooting for Edmonton or Ekblad, who, of course, grew up in Bell River? Most say Edmonton because they are Canadian. Another young man that I saw at a young age. And at a young age, got the exemption in the OHL as well. So Dave said 0 power play goals for Dallas is crazy in that series. Well, you know, we talk so much about Edmonton's power play, and rightfully so. I mean, it's absolutely lethal. But at the end of the day, how about their PK? I mean, it's just hockey's a funny game. Like, honestly, who thought Stuart Skinner would go all Patrick Waugh? Like, come on. Are you kidding me?
No, he was standing on his head, man. It was incredible.
Yeah.
And like
Nope.
I was texting you last night, the fact that if you told me the Oilers would have 10 shots on goal and they would win the game, I would never believe you. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah, Sean, I texted you the YouTube link. You can just post that on your Facebook, okay?
Oh, can I
How
really?
about that? Yeah, just copy and paste that link.
All right.
And just share that. Maybe
How
we
about
should just start doing that from now on.
Okay. That sounds cool. All right. I'm going to copy that. And now watch this. We're doing this live right now. We're doing it live. So let's see if I'm going to screw this up somehow, but
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I know how
I'm
this
just going to
goes with
say,
you.
join us live now. How's that?
On YouTube and put
Yeah.
YouTube in like big capital letters.
Join us live now on YouTube as well. Is that cool?
Sounds great.
All right. Let's see if it works.
You're doing so good. I'm so proud of you.
I've taken big steps, dude.
You really have. Like,
You
I'm
know
not
what's
even
funny?
joking.
No, but here's the thing, okay? And I don't mean to throw like my parents under the bus. I would hope that my kids would agree with this. There's a lot of like strange technology that my people don't understand. But I am a teach a man to fish type of guy. Does that make sense? I don't want my kids to show me how to do something and then do it for me every other time. I'm the type of person, show me how to do it, and then the next time, let me do it myself. Does that make
Or
sense?
let me show you how you showed me how to do it.
Yes, exactly. And then at that point in time, because like I'm telling you, my parents love you, Ma, Dad, props up in heaven. My parents would just be like, go do that. I go, but Dad, I showed you how to do that. Shut up your mouth. Go do it, damn it. And it was like, you know what they had a difficult time with? Seriously? Like those digital alarm clocks.
That's tough.
Can you set my alarm clock for me for 6:50? Okay, listen, Mom, you press this button As you hold that button down,
You can
you
just
make
push
the
the
clock
plus.
you make the clock go to 6:50.
Mhm.
It will wake you up at 6:50. Just do it, damn it. Okay.
Does your mom have a smartphone? Like, does she have an iPhone?
Does not. Yeah, she does not.
She's got the old flip phone still.
Yeah. Yep.
My grandmother has a smartphone, and it's a challenge. God love her. She's the best.
You know what
But
though, dude? Like, props to her. She's making an effort, right? Right?
yeah, but the problem is, and I don't want to besmirch Facebook because, we're live on Facebook, and, Zuck's probably going to take this down. But I don't need my grandmother doom scrolling on Facebook, just reading every fake news political article that is literally on the internet.
No, I get it.
I don't need that.
That's the most disappointing thing about it. Like, seriously, is how there are so many, and I'm being serious when I say this, Blake, and as I'm sure you are, there are so many people out there that target like old people.
Mm-hmm.
That
Like
they're
all the scams and everything.
yeah. It's dude, it's depressing. It's depressing.
Mm-hmm.
What was Tim talking about? Got today's headline from the Free Press. What was the headline? Was I
I don't
don't
know.
know.
That's over my head.
Yeah, share it with me. Jason said, "Can Florida stop Hyman?" Is the real question. Boy, has he been on fire? Somebody asked me today. I did
You
Lansing
think
radio.
Toronto misses that guy?
I did Lansing radio, and my good buddy Jack Ebling, his producer, said to me, could you make the argument that Hyman is perhaps the MVP? And of course, the MVP goes the Conn Smythe Trophy. And I said, I'm not going to say you're out of your mind for suggesting that, because I would say Evan Bouchard from a Oiler perspective belongs in that conversation as well. I just think you're trying too hard if you try to pick somebody other than Connor McDavid. I do. I can, both things can be correct, Blake. I can give a tip of the cap to Hyman. I can give a tip of the cap to Evan Bouchard. I can even give a tip of the cap to Skinner. It's Connor McDavid, man. And what Connor McDavid did last night, okay? I get this crap all the time. Not so much anymore, I think. And Jason, you remember this. Did you know I was a Sidney Crosby lover, right? Did you know that?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I love Sidney Crosby. You don't hear too many people complain too much about Sidney Crosby anymore. And I'll tell you why. Because so much of what Sidney Crosby does doesn't show up on the score sheet, right? It isn't about the bombastic point totals. It isn't about the bombastic, goals and things like that. Just so many little things that he does. I thought that Connor McDavid had one of those games last night. Everybody's going to talk about the goal. You talked about the goal. But what we also talked about was how he was physical when he had to be, how he led by example, how he played in all three zones, how he competed in all three zones. And if one of the best players in the world is your teammate and you're watching him work as hard as anybody else, if that doesn't motivate you, you don't have something beating in your freaking chest, man. You really don't. And to me, like last night watching Connor McDavid do that, I don't want to say he took another level step or anything like that. But man, if that doesn't hammer home just what a complete player that guy is, nothing will.
Yeah, he's very good at hockey. He's very good. That's the easy. I just rattled off all those things. He's very good at hockey.
I think that's
overall. He's pretty good. He's so much fun to watch, man. That goal though, like what we were talking about last night, that goal. I mean, to do that in that spot in the playoffs, like it was incredible.
John said we are all CA when it comes down to it. When one is left in the big show, we stick together. Knowing the conspiracy theories that Gary Bettman doesn't want a Canadian team to win again, not big enough markets for TV, et cetera, et cetera. I had a conversation along those lines last night, John, with, do you guys remember Jim McFarland? Longtime writer. He wrote for the newspapers in town, and now he does a lot of freelance stuff. Great guy. And he made the comment to me when I said this is an intriguing matchup, he said, this isn't the matchup that the league wants. I mean, look, anytime New York's out of the picture, absolutely, you can't argue that. However, the flip side to that is the NHL gets to take a spoonful of Connor McDavid and ram it down everybody's throat every single day.
Mm-hmm.
That's not exactly a loss. When one of your true stars, and I'm not talking Panarin crap, okay? But when one of your true stars who actually consistently plays in both ends of the ice and, oh, by the way, produces, when one of your true stars is on the big stage and everybody's watching, that's never an L. That's never an L. So yes, I get it. You're taking the New York market out of it, all that, and it's poor little Edmonton, but you still have the superstar factor, and I don't think the league should be too upset about that. I really don't.
No, and you got Kachuk on the other side. Like, he's a very recognizable name. You have guys on both these teams that fans know, people know, even non-hockey elites know.
Yeah. Ray said, crazy how you see some so-called analysts saying McDavid needs to shoot more, that 5 goals isn't enough so far. I mean, you're just not paying attention. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it again. I think, and this being in the quote-unquote media, Blake, there are guys
Me?
this. There are guys that simply try too hard. There are.
Yeah.
They're just I don't know, they want to be the smartest man in the room. I don't, how do you I don't even know how to explain it, but there are just way too many people like that, man. You're not watching. I don't know what to tell you. You're not, like, honest to God, you're not watching. If you came away, let's pretend McDavid's goal never happened last night. Let's just pretend Alakazoo. I take that memory away from you. He was still the best player on the ice. If you watch that game and you came away with anything from that game, who is this 97 guy? Wow, it's a shame he doesn't have anything to show for it. I don't know. Just the way it is. See, I told you. Did you see what Jason said? Shauner's pants just fell down around his ankles all on their own, mentioning Sid the Kid. I love Sidney Crosby. I do. I hope that, like, you both things, put aside your hatred for Sid going back to 08, 09, and Sid the hockey player. He's phenomenal. He really is. He's phenomenal.
Do you love Sidney Crosby as much as you hate Dylan Larkin? Like, are those on the same?
I don't know if I can hate anything more than I hate Dylan Larkin. So
I know. That's what I figured. I just wasn't sure.
That actually came up today. It's kind of funny that we haven't done that bit in a while, but when I was talking to Jack Ebling, we were talking about that again, and Jack had a chuckle with it. I said, it's so funny. You call a guy a good player, and there are so many people that, why do you hate him? What the hell are you talking about?
Well, you do. I don't know what. It's not a bit. That's real life.
Is that Bobby Kelly? Is that the Bobby Kelly? My son's buddy, Bobby Kelly, said if the league is mad about having Gretzky's team get to a cup with another generational talent, that's crazy. Listen, all right.
Jack
Bobby,
confirmed, yes.
Yeah, Jack Baligian. Hi, there's Jack Baligian right there. Florida has shut down some of the deeper teams in the league in the playoff. I love McDavid and Draisaitl, but I think that Florida will make them have to play a much rougher game. Absolutely. Bobby, I said it at the beginning of the show in case you missed it. I've been on Florida since February. I think people forgot about during the course of the regular season, you get wrapped up in the Panarins of the world, right? Look at us. Hey, I put up 110 points and our team won the President's Trophy. I want sandpaper. I want grit. I want guys that are going to go to war for you. And I think that's what you've seen Florida do. And I'm not calling out Aaron Ward, but Aaron Ward and I had a discussion about it when we had him on the show. And then we had a discussion about it in person when we did the alumni game. And I was almost taking it. He was like, Rangers are just too good. And I was like, but it's the playoffs. If they played 7 regular season games, I like the Rangers' chances of taking 4. I do. In a playoff series, I'll take Florida all day. Florida smoked the Rangers. Shesterkin is the only reason that series was the way it was. It really was, you know?
Just to go back on what we were talking about a minute ago,
Mhm.
because I know obviously you watch all the Canadian broadcasts, so I don't know how much you've caught of. Do you, as a Habs fan too, do you like PK on TV?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Yes and no. I wish there are too many bits. There are too many bits. Um
And we love bits.
um yes and no. Yes and no. He's an incredible guy. He's got a great sense of humor. He's got that enigmatic personality, much like he was as a player. He's an enigmatic player. But yes and no. I enjoyed the post game comments last night from the crew on TNT. I did. I enjoyed the post game stuff last
I
night.
think that their crew, and it just feels more natural. I don't
Yeah,
know. Like,
yeah.
I think Biz is really good at what he does. Like at the beginning, I didn't enjoy him as much on TV as he does like with the podcast and stuff. But he's really like coming to his own. Gretzky doesn't feel like he's. It just feels natural. Their crew feels good together.
Biz has been really good for Wayne Gretzky. Biz has been really good for Wayne Gretzky. I think you've seen Wayne Gretzky kind of loosen up, so
Yeah.
to speak. So I don't know. That's just my thoughts.
I think the ESPN crew it doesn't feel natural. I don't know how to explain it. It just that's true with all of their stuff though. I mean, besides College Game Day, like all of their like in studio stuff always feels so just like fake.
I
I don't
agree.
know.
I
Like their basketball stuff is nowhere near what TNT does. Their hockey stuff isn't as good. Even their college basketball stuff isn't nearly as good as anything CBS does. I don't know.
No, I agree with you. Tim said that's why we should be thankful we're on the Canadian border. Have yet to see a hockey game on American TV and be able to take the analysts seriously. They're that stupid to me. Yeah, we had no choice last night, and like I have to give credit where credit is due. I thought they did a good job in the post game show. When they're not trying to be yucksters, I think there's a time to be a yuckster and there's a time not to be a yuckster, and finding that fine line is sometimes difficult, but boy, I couldn't agree more. And Dave said the same thing. I mean, being able to grow up with CBC, are you kidding me? And some of us, Channel 54, watching games en français. I got to watch the Habs in French. Are you kidding me? That was awesome for me as a kid, Ray said Bizanet is trying to be the US version of Don Cherry, say anything that comes to mind and doesn't care. See, I thought that was Melrose bit. I thought that Melrose and what made me also think that is the Bucci overtime challenge. And I don't get me started on that guy. We've already done it a few times.
Yeah,
But
he's horrible.
Ray, you know this. Ron McLean's been doing that since what? 1987? That's been a staple of CBC broadcasts. Every overtime game, who do you got? You had to take one from each team, and that was yeah. I mean, that's been going on forever, and I mean, he just it's incredible. First final for Gretzky since he was an Oiler. Nope, he went in 1993. Do you know what happened in 1993, Blake? Do you have any idea what happened in the?
That's the year I was born.
You know what happened in 1993. You won't admit it.
I want you to say it.
Well, Gretzky and the Kings took game one, and then they lost the next four, including a 4-1 loss on June 9th, 1993. Patrick Waugh Conn Smythe Trophy. By the way,
That's what I was looking for.
There's
right
only
there.
one human being that has won the Conn Smythe Trophy. Un, deux, trois. Only one. I bet you can't guess who it was. Can I talk to you all about catering? I want to talk to you about All About Catering. All About Catering LLC is a full-service caterer, graduations, weddings, bridal showers, corporate events, anything you need catering for, from 25 to 4,000 people. All About Catering can and will take care of you. They've taken care of my family a couple different times. They will take care of you as well. Customer service and satisfaction is their number one goal. And let me tell you this, Rick and his staff, they bring it. Do not sweat your next big event. Just go to allaboutcateringllc.com today to see their menus, their all-star, 5-star reviews, or call 586-731-1398. That's 586-731-1398 to get your event started. I personally guarantee you will be very, very pleased with what they do, as I was as well.
You didn't even ask me who I'm picking, by the way.
Go ahead.
No, it's just,
I didn't know that I had to ask. Blaine,
I asked you. I asked you because you're my friend and I love you.
Show. You talk. You say that in a conversation. Hello, Blake. Who are you taking in this series?
No, I don't even want to tell you. I'm taking Edmonton in 7.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that to spite me and be a dick, or do you really
kind
feel
of
that way?
Kind of, but I really want, like, I've been saying it, I think, for the last couple rounds. I know I've said it on here with you. Like, I want McDavid to win one. I really do. And I think this might be his best chance. I mean, getting there is half the battle, and now he's there. So,
boy, I do not like this matchup in any way, shape, or form for them. I wouldn't, but then again.
No, but what matchup would you like?
Against Florida? Nobody. I've been on Florida's jock for 4 months now, so no. Against Florida, nobody. I really think that they are the quintessential look at us, we are a playoff team type of situation. I do. What did you wanted to go off about Jim Leyland, and I'm intrigued. No, I'm intrigued because I think you could take this in a couple different. I don't like to ask Blake ahead of time. I like to be, like, surprised and everything. So what? Go on.
So they're retiring Jim Leyland's number.
Yes.
I think Jim Leyland was a great manager.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a great job in Detroit. Should you get your number retired if you didn't win a championship? As a manager, especially? Like, I think Cabrera will have his number retired, and he damn well should. But Jim Leyland did not bring the Tigers a World Series. And the Detroit Tigers are one of the most historic franchises in all of baseball. There's only so many numbers that have been. I think he's the 10th number that's been retired. Mm-hmm. It's not like the Yankees that have, like, every other number retired. Like, they haven't retired a lot of numbers, and you're retiring a number for a guy that didn't win anything.
I think it's a good question.
Is that crazy?
Can I answer it on a personal level first?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care. Like, me personally, I don't care. Like, honestly. But this goes back to something that is near and dear to my heart, okay? And unfortunately, Pandora's box has been open. I think Hall of Fames have become Hall of Shams. And I think we've let in too many good players. I do. And I would categorize Jim Leyland and his time with the Detroit Tigers as good. I agree in that regard. Like, Blake, I don't care. Like, I'm not going to have a hissy fit over it. But at the same time, if you're asking me my opinion, I think a Hall of Fame and a retired jersey number should be just that. I think when I bring up a name, okay, here, you know what? Let me bring up a name. Are you ready? Barry Sanders.
His number should be retired.
Yeah, nobody who in their right mind, unless you're that guy. And boy, today seems to be breeding that guys. Who in their right mind is going to make an argument against that, right? I think
it's different for a player versus a manager, though, too.
I think so, but this goes back to what you said. If he won a championship and I don't care what anybody says, 13 should have been the year. 13 should have been the year. Period. End of story. It should have been the year. I know everybody talks about 06 when they went to the World Series and 12 when they went to the World Series. 13 was the team. That was the team. And I forever just have sorrow thinking about that. I really were. I honestly, my kid and I had season tickets, and like I told them, even with the 2 trips to the World Series, I was like, nope, this is the team. This is the team. This is the year. We know how that worked out. To your point, Blank, I think that should be reserved for a no-brainer. And I don't think it is.
And I'm not like this. Like, he was a great manager. I mean, obviously, took him to 2 World Series and everything. But I also think like the whole managers having numbers in baseball is the corniest thing in the world.
So stupid. And Eric has brought it up. This is the direction I thought you were going. I don't know if Christopher Illich cares about stuff like this. Actually, I kind of do. Optics are everything. Okay. The optics of doing something like this, when your family owns the Detroit Tigers, and for mostly unknown reasons, or mostly known reasons, I should say, not retiring Sergei Fedorov's number is unbelievable to me. It's ludicrous. It's absurd. And if he truly is starting to care more about optics and what people think, and I think that's been evidenced by some of the stuff that he has slowly started to change. Wow, we're actually going to fix the seats at Comerica Park. Wow, we're actually going to have monitors at work and stuff like that. If he cares about optics and things like that, Blake, to your point, let me go back to the very first thing that you said. I say Sergei Fedorov to you. There shouldn't be one human being out there that shakes their head and says he's not a Hall of Famer. He's not an all-time legend.
Mm-hmm.
So we can put our topics together. You know what I mean? What you said and my feeling, that's, I say Sergei Fedorov. Anybody who watched him play say, yeah, absolutely. I think to retire Jim Leyland first is just, it's a bad look. It's a bad look for a franchise that unfortunately has had a lot of bad looks. And I want to say this. I don't think Christopher Illich is a bad guy at all. But optics are real sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
that, Christopher, if you're watching and I had a chance to tell you, I would tell you exactly what I'm about to say. Like, you should right that wrong like now. Not even wait till hockey season. Hey, by the way, we just announced that Jim Leyland is we're going to retire. We're going to, first game of the year, we're going to retire Sergei Fedorov's number. We got to get that up in the rafters. Just announce it now. Make it 2-for-1 deal. You know what I mean?
You might be able to get a deal on the banner. You know?
Yeah.
I think sorry, what Jim said is though 100% right. If Leyland wasn't going into the Hall of Fame, it wouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
It's just timing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, can I tell you about Legacy?
I would love for you to.
These guys were over the house on Saturday. We had some pork. I made the shrimp and andouille sausage. They are great guys, and I've been saying this. Okay, they're doing it. They're in the process of doing it for me right now. Listen, these guys are going to take care of you. They're great guys. Had 5 guys over my house on Saturday. Feasted. They're looking for ways to save me money. Isn't that what it's all about? Hey, times are tough right now. And thousands of Metro Detroiters have already called Legacy Partners to get help with their home and auto insurance and, yes, save money. Our friends at Legacy are one of Southeast Michigan's top independent insurance agents. They provide a full-service, one-stop solution for all of your insurance needs, personal and business, large and small. Legacy has helped our listeners by fixing mistakes other agents have made, asking the right questions to get the right coverage put in place to properly protect you. And as I mentioned, save you money. Isn't that what it's all about? Listen to me. Give Joe a call. Give Dave a call. Give Alex a call. Call Cal. Any one of these guys are going to help you just like they're helping me and my family. Why? Because anybody that deals with legacy is going to find out what we found out. You are immediately family. Just cool guys. And if you could do me that favor, you'd be doing yourself a favor as well. Give these guys a call. 586-209-4106. That's 586-209-4106. Give Legacy a chance to help with your home, your cars, life insurance, Medicare enrollments, business insurance needs. They are going to hook you up. Good quality people helping out people just like you and me. Hey, times are tough. Let them take some of the stress away for you. 586-209-4106 or visit legacypartnersins.com to get started for your new quotes. And listen, do me a favor. Say Sean and Blake sent you. All right? If you could do that, I would really, really appreciate it. And then, you know what? You would actually thank me and go, hey, dude, I called Legacy and they really hooked me up. And I go, no, you don't thank me. Thank Legacy. But most importantly, you'll be thanking yourself. So appreciate that greatly, greatly. Ray said, I think Vlad gets his number retired before Fedorov. It is sad. I don't get it. I do. There was, especially with Mr. Illich, rest his soul. He felt like there was a loyalty issue. And I would say right now, especially with Mr. Illich being gone now for what? 8.5 years, I would say it's time to put that to bed. I mean, hang the guy's rafter for goodness sake. I mean, he was a tremendous hockey player, a Hall of Fame player. Like, come on, like knock it off. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But Blake, back to your point, strictly about Jim Leyland. Jim Leyland would be a Hall of Good candidate in my mind.
Yeah.
Hall of Good. And I don't know, just go to the Hall of Fame. I mean, there's so many guys when you go to the Hall of Fame, you sit back and you're like, really? Really?
Which Hall of Fame do you think is the most watered down and which one do you think is the least?
Baseball.
Baseball's the most?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it's basketball. Basketball, literally everyone gets in.
Yeah, you could make that argument. There are just so many. And that's why I think it pisses so many Tiger fans off that Lou Whitaker isn't. Because there are so many other guys that you compare Lou's numbers to, and it's just like, come on. Now, listen, on its own, do I think that Lou Whitaker is a Hall of Famer? Do I think that Alan Trammell is a Hall of Famer? I don't. Sorry. As good as their careers are. But if you're basing it on other guys that are in, absolutely. Absolutely. Blake, I always laugh. Sometimes you hear the well, they got to give somebody in this year. Why?
Yeah.
Why? If there was nobody eligible to be in that year, then don't let anybody in. Like, what? It doesn't make sense to me, but that's not what it's all about. You know that.
And Barry Bonds should be in.
I agree. 100%.
I think football is like by far the least watered down, though.
Tony said tougher with baseball because the writers are full of spite too. Jack Morris. Listen, the writers have to own the whole Barry Bonds thing. They have to be accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Like, everybody knew what was going on. Like, Blake, I was there. I had a front row seat for it. I was standing next to Mark McGuire's stall at the 1998 All-Star game. I'm not joking when they were asking questions about Andrew Steen-Dion. Like, I was literally standing right there. Like, no crap. I'm not blowing my horn or anything like that. Everybody knew what was going on, and they all conveniently turned their heads the other way. And so in that regard, baseball is back, right? And McGuire Sosa, and it saved baseball and all that, right? Stop it. You guys are complicit as anybody else. Just look the other way. So on the backside, all of a sudden, wait, whoa. Now you're the great arbitrator of what's right and what's wrong. Doesn't Makes sense to me. Didn't make sense to me then, and it doesn't make sense to me now.
I mean, baseball writers take themselves way too serious.
Way too serious.
Baseball writers and golf writers,
Yeah.
way too serious.
Brian
Just
said
chill
Bud
out, man.
Selig turned a blind eye. Everybody did. Brian, we were old enough. Everybody did. We all got caught up. All of a sudden, for the first time in years, people were stopping what they were doing and watching a baseball game. Like, I crap you not. I was at the gym. Seriously, when McGuire hit the home run. And like everybody, when he came up, everybody stopped what they were doing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not joking. Everybody just stopped and was like, okay, cool. I'm done with I mean, that is not an exaggeration. A gym full of people, like 8:20 at night, everybody just kind of stopped and went like this and was watching it was incredible. But that's what happened.
Yeah.
Tim said Pete Rose is the most senseless. Jason said something too. I forgot what the comment was. Maybe you can find it up there.
This one? No, wait.
I forget.
I clicked it and then it went away.
Pete was his own worst damn enemy. He just was. It was, as long as Pete Rose isn't in the Baseball Hall of Fame, it's a joke. I agree with you. You know that. I've been saying it for years, but gosh, damn it. There has never been a greater enemy to oneself than Pete Rose. I don't know this for sure, okay? But this is my theory. If Pete just shot straight back then and accepted the lifetime banishment, I'm convinced something would have been fixed before he passed. I'm convinced. But because it took so many years and then he finally admitted it, there's no way he gets in while he's alive on this earth. No way. No, now spite is going to come.
It's just so weird now because with everything with gambling and where we're at now with gambling, 100%. It looks a million times worse
100%
now than it did then.
Even. Yep.
Gambling is so normalized now and everyone's, I mean, like, for prime example, Conor McDavid is in a hockey gambling like commercial. Mm-hmm. It's not even, there's players that are a part of it. It's everything.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know. I don't get it.
No. It's Tony said he is still his own worst enemy, puts his foot in his mouth constantly.
Is everything all right over there?
The dogs are going nuts. Could you tell? They're literally having a fight right now.
Well,
it is enough. Holy! I thought they were going to knock the damn table over.
I know. You had to fix the camera and everything.
I caught the light. Did you? You didn't see that. The light.
I saw it.
Okay, I didn't, but you didn't see it off the screen. The light was coming right down. It was coming right on the.
Anyone that questions your athletic ability,
dude,
after you just caught that light,
dude,
is wrong. They're just wrong.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Back.
Thank you. Can I tell you about our friends from Wealth Advantage?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you two better go run and hide.
Do they like dogs?
They do, actually. They do.
Good.
They're also handsome. I mean, who doesn't like a handsome man? And if you're ready to take charge of your financial future, look no further than the Wealth Advantage Group, located in historic downtown Northville and owned by the Handsome brothers right there with over 20 years of industry experience. They understand that your financial goals are as unique as you are. That's why they offer personalized expert guidance to help you navigate the complexities of financial planning. They are absolutely hooking me up. They'll hook you up as well. And it's not just about now, it's about the future. A lot of you getting a little older up there, maybe a little more salt in the hair than the pepper, and you want to make sure you're taken care of when you retire. These guys are going to help you. If you're saving for retirement, you're getting ready to sell your company, already in retirement, doesn't matter. They can help you through every step of your financial journey, and they work with clients throughout all stages of life and have clients in over 20 states. The investment world is a complex one. So if you're ready to start taking your finances more seriously, it's time to work with the experts. Reach out to the Handsome brothers. the Wealth Advantage Group at 248-773-8574. That's 248-773-8574. Or view their website at www.thewealthadv.com. Eric has said multiple times, A-Rod, absolutely. Baseball has to own it with all those guys. I'm sorry, they do. It's almost like, in my mind, until all those guys got called to the Hill, do you remember that? What was that, 05? I don't even remember when that was. And they all made asses out of themselves. I mean, when I'm left at the end of it all going, oh my gosh, Jose Canseco looks like the smartest guy, baseball screwed it up.
Jose
Canseco was the smartest guy. He was the guy that was telling the truth. But A-Rod, Palmeiro, Roger Clemens with the vitamin B12 shots in his buttocks. Who believes that crap? And everybody looked the other way. We all knew. Don't say, if some loser like me, who wasn't even on the quote unquote beat, knew, what about those guys who were beat, right? You all knew. Like, knock it off. So to play holier than thou is just incredibly hypocritical. Yeah, it happened. Let's all move on. That's what happened. Barry Bonds' numbers are sick, by the way. Blake, do you ever do that? Do you ever go look at, sometimes I go look at his numbers and just laugh. They're just the walks, the OPS. It was like Brian said, Sammy forgot how to speak English. Do you remember that? Sammy Sosa,
I've heard
who was pitching things for years on television with that smile, all of a sudden he couldn't speak English anymore. He turned into a Detroit Red Wing. That's another great bit in this town, whether people want to admit it or not. There were certain Red Wings that decided when they spoke English and when they didn't speak English. And there were a couple of them, and I'm never going to blow their cover. There were a couple of them who spoke perfect English and basically told me as such, especially when their career was over. It was like, stop it, man. Come on, all those years you just acted like you couldn't talk and hee.
Hey, you brought up handsome men a minute ago, and that you know who the most handsome man is, right?
Well, I think you
in
and
my
I
mind,
different. You and I are going to have different answers, but go ahead.
Joe Burrow, and that just reminded me about Justin Jefferson's deal, which was that deal is crazy. The amount of money he got, and I think he deserves it. Don't get me wrong.
Totally.
He's one of the 3 best receivers in the
NFL.
NFL.
The best. You and I have had that conversation.
Yeah, Jamar Chase has something to say about that. Which that's the other part of this, though, is now Justin Jefferson got paid, and Chase hasn't yet, and the Bengals have to pay him, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So what? They're gonna T's gonna play on the franchise for a year, and then they're not gonna be able to afford both. I'm assuming.
I'm going to be intrigued to see how much the cap goes up. I think the NFL is in a really interesting position right now and has been for a while, but it just seems like it's even gone next level where everything they touch turns to gold, and the cap just keeps going up even more than perhaps they thought it was. So I'm going to be interested to see how that changes things, Blake, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It's also the Bengals owner is notoriously cheap.
Yeah.
So he's not going to pay both of them.
Yeah. Brian said Jose Canseco just snitching because he's Finnish. Rick Ross, every day I'm hustling. Seriously, though, think about it. Jose Canseco was the honest one. Remember the whole Rafael Palmeiro? Listen to me. I did not, in the finger wag, I did not take performance-enhancing drugs. You remember? I mean, guys just went up there and you go up there to the Hill with the professional liars. I mean, our government officials, and they're going to eat you alive. They smell that bullshit crap.
Yeah. Oh, jar.
Jeez, Pete, I think that's the
your first jar. Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
As Jason said, Pete was definitely his own worst enemy, but leave it to MLB to be big babies about it. I'm paraphrasing because I lost that 100%. I just wish he would have owned it years ago because I'm convinced it'd be over by now. there have been other lifetime banishments that were ended. I'm convinced it would have been over. I think Pete just adamantly, to the point where he convinced people, including me, well, if a dude is defending himself that vigorously, there's no way he did. And then when he came out and said, yeah, I did. Oh, that sucks. Jefferson got paid big money. Could you imagine if Moss was playing today, how much he would have gotten? Would have been interesting.
He was filthy.
He was so good. He
just. I mean, do you think Justin Jefferson, like, do you think he's the best receiver in the league? Do you think he's the best receiver to come into the league since Randy Moss?
That's a big statement, dude.
Yeah, but he's that good.
He is that, but I mean, you're talking about, I mean, honestly, think about what you just said. You're talking about in the last 25 years and all the good receivers that have been in the game. You got to put him up there.
I mean,
I think that's
him or Calvin, right?
You got to take him. Yeah, you got to put him up there.
I know, like, I'm not so, like, I know stats wise, like, Justin Jefferson is much better than Jamar Chase. Mm-hmm. Like, Justin Jefferson's stats in his first 4 years in the league are insane. They're nuts.
Yeah,
he's great.
I think one thing that we kind of forget too is just how good Calvin was for a couple of years, and when you consider like what was around him as well, like that 2012 year, you got to give some love for that. But this is like next level stuff. This is like, it's funny. Tim just said no because Calvin is better than JJ. JJ's got a lot to go before you can start comparing him to. But in terms of the last couple of years, he's the best receiver in football. I often sit back, though, and I'm not joking when I say this, Antonio Brown. Like, what might have been with Antonio Brown? Because I think throughout all his antics, throughout all his theatrics, throughout the hit that effectively just mushed his brain, Blake, people forget how damn good that guy was. He was sick. He was the best receiver in football for a couple of years. Yeah. Ray said, what do you think CD is thinking? Who does Dallas pay now, Dak or CD? Isn't that amazing?
Dak.
Yeah, didn't we just go through this a couple of years ago with Dak? That's the crazy thing about it when you're talking about these guys. It reminds me of Joey signed. Joey, oh my gosh. Ugh. It reminded me when Stafford signed that big contract and people were losing their minds. And I was like, are you new to this? This is going to be, they're going to blow past it. Quick, fast, in a hurry. And doesn't it seem like just yesterday everybody was talking about, I can't believe that Jerry Jones gave Dak that contract coming off the knee. You know, it's just kind of crazy how that works, you know?
I don't know how they're still doing the Dak thing.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
He's not good. He's not. He's average. You know, he's a 4th round pick.
Can I pull out a line that Killer and I used to say all the time?
Yeah.
Killer and I could never agree on. Do you remember Jeff Backus? We could never agree on. He played at Michigan. He was a Lion. You would have been really little. We could never agree on Jeff Backus. I called him an average lineman. Wonderful guy. I called him an average lineman. Killer said, no, he's good. We made up a word, gaverage. I would call Dak Prescott gaverage. And what gaverage means is sometimes you see really good moments, sometimes you see average moments, and sometimes you're like, huh? That to me, that's what he is. He's
I mean, him and Kirk Cousins are the same player. They are. Even statistically, you look at it, they're the same player.
It's
Kirk Cousins is white Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is black Kirk Cousins.
It's
the truth.
Ray said NFL should follow NBA contract policy. You get paid if you earn it on the field or court by winning awards, not just because you're next. Yeah, you know, And Dave, I agree. The whole Tony Romo stuff, I never got it. Tony Romo was all right. He was all right. He had some damn good moments, but more often than not, he was all right. Can I tell you about Lindsay Broadwell before we get out of here? There you go, Nick. I know you're happy. Hey, when it's time to buy, sell, both, doesn't matter. You need to contact the right agent. You know who I recommend? That lady right there, Lindsay Broadwell. Your house is probably the biggest investment you'll ever make, and that's why you need a pro. Lindsay grew up on the mean streets of Northville and has expanded her team all over Southeast Michigan. She's an expert in all facets of the business. And when it's time to move, our friend Lindsay and her team will make sure you get the most out of your house and that everything goes smoothly when finding your new home. Buyer, seller, first-time buyer, doesn't matter. Just make sure you contact the right agent. That right agent is Lindsay at BroadwellHomes.com. She will help you with everything from start to close. Licensed realtor at Real Broker LLC. Start your search today at BroadwellHomes.com. Blake, 82 days, pal. 82 days.
You know what I was thinking legitimately while you were doing that read in my head? I'm like, wow, me and Sean made it a whole hour and we didn't talk college football.
Man. All right, you ready? Did you see the odds to win the CFB playoff?
I saw you retweeted it and I knew you were going to bring it up. I didn't look too in depth into it, though.
Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Auburn, NC State, and Nebraska at 150-1.
Yeah,
Arizona, Kansas at 125-1. K-State at 75-1. Missouri, Oklahoma 65-1. USC, Utah 60-1. A&M, Tennessee at 50-1. Clemson, Miami, Michigan at 40-1. Florida State, Notre Dame, Penn State at 25-1. LSU at 17-1. Ole Miss at 15-1. Oregon at 8.5-1. Texas at 7-1. Ohio State at 4-1. UGA at 3-1.
I'm telling you right now, I would put money on Oregon to win that at 8.5-1.
Do you know what I would do? I would cover my butt, though. And I'd take Georgia as well.
Yeah.
I would.
But also, Tennessee at 50-1. Not crazy. They're going to make the playoff. And it's 12-team playoff.
Yeah, I'm going to be intrigued. All right, listen, we got to get out of here. Blake, so we have tomorrow off, and then Wednesday, I know we're doing MHSAA hockey thing, and then you and I get back together Thursday, and then the golf boys get together Thursday night, and then Shep and I are doing something Friday, and then we're doing a pregame show and a watch party on Saturday. So lots to do. I have to urinate. The old man prostate is like this, so when it hits, it hits. So I'm going to go race to the bathroom. Blake, thank you as always. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Off the Air with Sean Baligian, featuring Sean Baligian and Blake Majchrzak. Produced by Todd Losey and Blake Majchrzak. Executive produced by Sean Baligian and Todd Losey. Theme song, incidental music, and related sound effects are from Play It Loud by Jam Studio. Engineering, mixing, and graphic design support provided by the unsyndicated podcast team. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Off the Air with Sean Baligian on all your favorite channels. While you're there, be sure to rate and review the podcast. Got something to say to Sean? Call the unsyndicated hotline at 248-237-3257.